Now, we've got 15 minutes of me reading poetry to you and explaining why the whole thing is very anxiety-provoking for me. And hopefully you're going to listen and go, oh, it's really difficult for you, Matt. And other things that you might feel. I've got a thing coming up. I'm building up to. I want to read you something that I'm kind of haven't quite finished yet. That I've got to do in a few days' time. But I want to say the kind of pressure that I take on sometimes in my poetry life isn't what I ever intended to do. But I can't say no to things because I've also got a financial pressure. So when I got a call from the Waste and Resources Action Project's Love Food, Hate Waste campaign, and they said, Matt, could you write us a love poem to a potato? I said, I think so. Is it a paid job? And they said, we're going to pay you advertising copywriter rates, which is kind of unheard of in my world. And I went, oh yeah, okay, definitely. That's a lovely thing to do. And they said, could you write us a poem that will change the behaviour of a generation? And I said, yeah, sure. So I actually, I took the commission on. They said, we want you to get across in your love poem that your love for your potato takes the form of not wanting to waste any of your potato. And I said, so you want me to write a poem to the whole potato? And they said, Matt, we think you're beginning to hear us now. And so I wrote, this is my first go. I called it the whole potato, and I read it to a room full of advertising executives over a Skype conference call. So I was like talking, I'm going to talk to you now, but I was like talking into my laptop with great passion. I love the whole potato, skin and all. The po, the tay, the toe, it's criminal to throw even a bit of it away. Say whoa, say hey, say whoa, hey, whoa. Don't throw away the potato. Do not betray the po, the tay, it's not the way to go, no way. You must be true to toe, po, tay, to total po and tay and toe. The toe and tal of total too, but not the b, the tray, the al of betrayal. Don't feed the crim, the in, the all of criminal, but love the whole potato, skin and all. Clap. Thank you. No, thank you. The reason I made a point of asking you to clap was because they didn't clap. I know, they went, nah. No, they said, the thing is, Matt, we are hoping that you'd be a bit more specific. We were hoping that you'd get across that if your potato was to sprout in its storage area, that you wouldn't just chuck it away, but you'd peel it, you'd boil it, you'd mash it. And if you had some mash left over, you wouldn't just chuck that away, put it in a little bag, put it in the freezer, and have it later. And they said, and could you make it a bit shorter as well? And I was thinking, I need to get paid for this. This is quite important to me. So I went back and I wrote, "Oh, potato." It goes like this. No part of you's inedible, though all of you's inaudible. The taste of you's incredible, the price of you's affordable. No spud is dud. If you get sprouty, I don't go all throwy outy. But focus all my passion into peeling, into mashing, I still need you, so I freeze you. Saying softly, see you later, mashed potato. And that's how that one ended. So, just for those few lines, it cost me, I'll tell you, there's a lot of sweat, a lot of kind of anxiety that went into those few lines.
I prefer the first one, Matt.
Thank you. There was no money on the table for the first one, but thank you. I feel vindicated there.
Did they clap the second?
Did they clap the second? They paid me. That was even more affirming. They actually put it on. I went up to Soho and recorded it in a little booth. Just to be clear, that's why I was in Soho in the booth. Okay. And in all seriousness, they phoned me up about a month later and said, would it be okay to give you some more money and put it over the tannoy and Co-op supermarkets? And I went, oh, go on then. And then they called me up about a month later and said, would it be okay to give you a tiny bit more money and use it as council phone hold music? And I said, actually, I'm beginning to feel exploited now. No, I didn't. I said, oh, go on. So I did.
When I say you brought the potato to the Brewhouse, probably to make poteen,
To make... I quite like that one. It's a bit complicated. And you need to know your history about Irish moonshine. But apart... Thank you. Poaching. Christy Moore fans. Yes. But the pressure I'm under right now, I've promised to do a talk on... I've got a 9-minute section at this conference. The theme is in our hands. And I promised I would write a hands poem. So the first 2 poems I'm going to do in that little section, I'm going to write are things which I love to hold in my hands, like a cup of tea. My first one. I've got a love poem to a tea bag. Quickly give you the love poem to the tea bag. I'm from Totnes, so it's a GM-free fair trade tea bag. Yeah, it's one of those unbleached ones. Looks like it's been used once before, but it hasn't. You are a four-cornered star shining rustily in hot water. You are the perforated parachute that makes my morning landing soft when I crash in from dreamland. You are a savoury, scented sandbag. As half empty as you are half full, your permeable membrane an inverted flood wall. You're the force that through infusion drives my waking hour. You're a freshwater sponge soaking up my power to resist you. I insist you're always welcome to muddy my waters. For when I'm blue, I brew you up and pour you out into my cup, and, offered as soothing ointment to my esophagus, you are not a disappointment, although you are a disappointment as a Christmas decoration. And also as a duvet, you've a very low tog rating. Produce of more than one country, you are an intercontinental holistic missile. Yes, I'll always keep our mid-morning appointment. For the best of many heavens is 11's is. And when you're hot for me, to be honest, just the one is enough per pot for me. Consolation prize, foul weather friend, treasure at the rainbow's end, calm inducer, tongue loosener, rescue remedy, biscuit softener. You are often a subtle social worker or community relations officer. Peace broker, mediator, china stainer, radiator, nerve soother, mood changer. Don't you ever be a stranger. My multitasking flask filler, waker, upper, cupper, maker, throat stroker. I'll see you later. Same last line as the previous one, I just realised. Anyway, now, last one before I bring on Lynn Ingram, who's going to talk to us about mindfulness. Now, I went to the mindfulness workshop, and it was really, really helpful. It's enjoyable and interesting. And one thing we did was eat, or no, we didn't just eat. We examined a raisin leading up to eating it, which was just, I was saying to Lynn, just like one of my poetry exercises. And it made me think I must eat like this in future, except it would take all morning just to eat my muesli if I did it in that style. But it's a way of looking at things, and that's partly that the same way I was looking at the tea bag was similar to the way I think we were looking at our raisin. And I'm trying to do that with hands. So this is just because you're supportive people, I'd like to read you my hands poem, and I will know from your response, your involuntary response, how well it's going. Hands. You're so handsome. It's not a great first line. And handy. And then some. I look at the back of you, your lines, wrinkles, knuckles, veins. If these were country lanes, I'd be lost, go the wrong way. Hands, you've come a long way, not just from the nippers, grippers, but back in the day you once were flippers. And did those hands in ancient time crawl from the protoplasmic slime? Original foragers, movers and shakers, flint splinterers, beaker makers, workers in wicker who fashioned the first coracle millennia before we made you go, all metaphorical, hold on to abstractions, our future, our destiny, our ability to switch from fossil fuels to renewables in 10 years. A hand can stand for only so much, when what it's made for is touch. Hands, you're better at your bread and butter job. Good for caressing, undressing, de-stressing, addressing envelopes, pointing out antelopes, for caring, for swearing. You're the on-the-quiet cursor, itch-scratcher, ball-catcher, and vice versa. Digital fidgeter, ever faster draftsman, gesticulator, calculator, master craftsman. You are the the manufacturers, but not supporters. Sorry. Tucker, upper, under chin, chucker, you're the wiper of spills, typer of thrills, pincher, half-incher, former of figures, the pusher of pills and the puller of triggers. For healing, for harm, clenched fist, open palm, you're sensitive, you're arty, but you also do karate. You speak so many languages, they're doing it like the smack of you, the so-called knuckle sandwich is the least appealing snack of you, but you're good. The can-do part of us for all requiring artifice, pickers of pockets, pickers of noses, flickers of V's, flickers of bogies, for sewing things and growing things, for picking up and throwing things. You have a special way of knowing things, for knitting, for knotting, for literal nitpicking, nut-cracking, picnicking, shot-putting, pet-petting, for holding my head in when things do my nut in. There's so much we can hold in you, can heat up from the cold in you, can lovingly enfold in you. I may not know the back of you, but I would feel the lack of you. Hands, mitts, dukes, paws, without wishing to talk down to you, give yourselves a big round of applause. That's what I clap my hands. Thank you very much for listening. My feeling was it goes quite well, but it's a bit long. Yeah, just say thank. Yeah, that's my feeling too. Thank you. It's been very helpful. I want to welcome our final speaker, actually. Lynn Ingram's gave a fantastic workshop on mindfulness now. She's going to tell us more about it. Please welcome Lynn.